this is Danielle Dunlop for Pawsome Stamps, and today I'll be making a slimline card with the birthday fishes stamp set. In my last video for Pawsome Stamps, you saw me creating a shaker card with the big wheel of this stamp set, and on this video I'm going to create a card with all the other fishes, and I will also be using the Spring Showers sequence set. So I stamped and die cut all the fishes except the big wheel. So I'm having 5 fishes. And since I love everything rainbow, I decided to color them in a rainbow pattern. So each fish is going to be one of the colors of the rainbow. And yes, there's 6 colors in a rainbow. I'm just leaving the purple out on this card. And I'm starting here with my first fish, and that's going to be the red one. And there's different stripes on this fish, and I'm using the R35 and R32 for some of the stripes, and then the other stripes are going to be lighter, and that is going to be R22 and R20. The next color is going to be orange, and I decided to go with a real bright orange, YR09 and YR04. And it's not the easiest combination to blend, like oranges are in general. So I'll keep going back and forth between these colors to try to get a good as possible blend between these two. And eventually you'll end up with a nicer light orange in the middle, and the outside is really bright and dark. For the tail and the fins, I only added 1 extra color in the mix, Y38. So I used the YR04 as my darkest color and the Y38 as my lightest. My next fish is going to be yellow, and since this one has some stripes, I'm going to use a darker yellow and a lighter yellow and mix them up. So I'm starting here with Y17 as my dark yellow and Y15 as my lightest. This is also not one of the easiest to blend, so I keep going back and forth to get a pretty blend in there. Now that I have all my dark yellows down, I'm moving on to my lighter yellows, which is Y13 and Y11. And I'm using that one for those thinner stripes there on the body. And as you can see, the back fins of the fish I did in the darker yellow. And then the ones in the front are going to be the lighter yellow as well. Now we're moving on to the shark, and he's going to be green. Never seen a green one, but in my imagination they exist. And on a card, everything is possible, right? So I'm starting here with YG05, and then I'm going to blend that a bit with YG03, and my lightest color is YG01. The fins and the tail of the shark are going to be in these same 3 green colors, and I really like how light and bright green this shark turned out. And now for the last fish of my card. It's supposed to be blue, but I wanted to go for a more teal color since my ocean of my card is going to be real blue. So that's why I went with BG13 and BG11. And that's what I'm using here for the main body of the fish. And my stamping ink was still a little bit wet. It was not entirely dry, so that's why you see me so carefully going between those stamped lines there, because I noticed there was some smear happening. It's quite humid here, so it takes a while before stamping ink is really dry. Now for the fins and the tail and the face of the fish, I wanted to use a darker teal color. So I'm still with the BG colors. I'm using the BG72 and BG75. It's a gorgeous color combination, and I should actually grab those more often than I do. Now that all my fish are colored, it's time to start working on my background, which is going to be an ocean. Shocker. I started at the top with some tumbled glass distress ink, but I figured it was not dark enough. The distress ink tumbled glass is a real light color. So I put selfish patina at the over that, and that's going to be about a third of my card. So the ocean is going to be lighter at the top and dark at the bottom. So once I have about a third of my background covered in selfish patina, I'm going to switch to Mermaid Lagoon, which is going to be my middle blue. This seems quite a shade gap between selfish patina and Mermaid Lagoon, but I've been using this blend quite often lately, and it actually blends so beautifully, and it's one of my favorites for oceans. Just keep going back and forth between the two colors until you're happy with your blend. I pulled the Mermaid Lagoon a little further down the card than just a third of the card, because my last and darkest color is going to be Uncharted Mariner, and that blue is real dark, so I didn't want that to overtake the entire background. So the majority is a nice lighter blue, and then just that deep ocean blue is going to be at the bottom. Once I'm happy with my blend, I'm using Uncharted Mariner and Mermaid Lagoon to do some splattering on the background. I like how that gives some more dimension. So I just apply some of the ink to my glass mat and add some water to it. And then I'm just randomly going to splatter some of that blue all over my card. To add some more interest to my background, I like to add some white splatters as well. And I use Copic Opaque White for it. Honestly, I don't even know what it exactly is, but the texture of it reminds me of acrylic paint. And I just put some on my glass mat, add some water to it, so it gets a little more liquid, a little more fluid. And I just splatter it the way I would do with ink. The reason why I use this product is because it dries white, not transparent. Next, I'm going to add my sentiment, which is I see we have something to celebrate from this same Birthday Fishes stamp set. I've cut a card base that is just 1/8 of an inch bigger on all sides of my background. And I'm going to use some foam squares to attach my ocean background to the card base. And I'm using the thinner foam squares that I have that are 1/16 of an inch, because the 1/8 of an inch I'm going to use to add my fishes to the card. And my experience is if you use a double layer of 1/8 of an inch foam squares, your card is going to be really thick and you might get some mailing issues. So now I'm adding my card background to the card base. And as you can see, it's just this teeny tiny white little border that it gives you behind your card background. And I think it gives a little more interest to your card. So now I'm going to finish my card up with the fishes. I have them all in the position where I want them. I'm adding the 1/8 of an inch foam squares to all of the fishes, so they're popping up a little bit from the card. Next, I'm using my white gel pen, and I'm mainly going over the lighter parts of the fishes, and I really like how it gives them more of a three-dimensional look. There are also two different bubble stamps in the Birthday Fishes stamp set. There's one here with the 3 bubbles, And I'm using that one twice on my card. And then there's the one stamp with only one bubble. And I'm adding that one a couple times on my card as well. I've sprayed some water on my glass mat, and with a small brush, I'm putting some water in the bubbles, and then I'm dabbing it a little bit with a paper towel. And because the background is done with distress ink, the water works as a resistance. So the bubbles get a little bit of a lighter color than the rest of the ocean. As a final finishing touch, I'm using the sequins embellishment mix from Pawsome Stamps Spring Showers, which is a beautiful color to go with an ocean. And I'm adding just a couple here and there to continue the bubble pattern. So here's my finished card, and it can be used for any type of celebration. I hope you enjoyed watching this card come together. I'll be back on the Pawsome Stamps channel on Sunday, February 12th with a card made with a stamp set and stencil from the newest release, so you do not want to miss that. Hit that subscribe button and you will get a notification when any new video comes up. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.